Okay, so I guess I have to re-record my video because I can't say the C word and talk about it. I guess I'll have to figure out a code word for that, but for now. So to complete what I was talking about, oh my gosh, there is two types of people, right? The two types of survivors. I think here, but also with the whole indoctrination of Bill Gothard, which is the first type is those that fall in line, right? That oh yeah, okay, now I remember. Okay, so let me pause. What I was trying to say was with the whole or why there's some people that are very this is very foreign to, right, about the Bill Gothard survivors coming out. It's so foreign to some individuals, especially people within my community that are still stuck and or wanting to come out but are trying to learn how to come out, right, or how to speak up for themselves because of that being silenced, right? There's two types of people. The first is the kind that they fell in line, right? They obeyed the rules, they did what they were supposed to do, just like in the army, right? There's the soldiers that are the fit soldiers, the good soldiers that everybody loves because you're easy, because you do what you're supposed to do, right? And then there's the second type. And the other type is those that are rebellious, or known as rebellious, i.e. me, right? That basically see it for what it is, that can see through the BS, right? Even on television, even like can see the movies for what they actually are, and not like, oh yeah, and then just follow, right? Well, because of that, that's why you see there's the group that's like, this doesn't make any sense, that's not right, because they didn't experience the same things that those of us that are considered rebellious or went against the grind experienced, right? Because they didn't experience the same things, that's why it's so foreign, it's such a shock to their system, right? Because they can't relate. But they actually can with some things, right? It's just they can't until they see, until till the curtains are pulled back. Well, with the groups that are like me, right, that were the rebellious ones that went against the grind, that decided to say no and put their foot down, we were the ones that experienced the harsher camps, that were sent away, right, that basically like felt the rod, if you will. Some literally, and some of us, for me, I was sent into the army, right, and it didn't break me because of, well, it broke me in some ways, but it didn't break me the way that the system would like. So yeah, all that kind of broke down. That's partly why the other video kind of, they did silence the rest of it. They might silence this one because it was touching base on that C word, right? For me, I personally experienced a lot of the same things that Shiny Happy People actually touch on in their documentary, because even though, those camps and that terminology was used in, the reality is it was way there before Bill Gothard, and it's still here after. And that cycle is, yes, like my mother-in-law said, right, going to repeat itself until what? Until people wake up and choose to realize the truth, and then what? They choose to make a change, a healthy form of change, not a violent form of change. Even though we have the right to be violent, right? It's not the answer, because violence will only basically bring about. Anyway, to recall, I think what I was talking about, basically the people, us responding in violence is what they want. Just like many others out here have said, it's falling into the history repeating itself, right? And it's like, okay, so are we going to keep doing that same rhythm, or are we going to pause and realize we can put that aside, even though we have the right to do that, right? Even though we have the right to be angry, the right to lash out, the right to be hurt and be heard, right? there's a better way to respond. And I think that's really triggering to people like me, myself, right? Until I could decide, so I understand you, right? Because until you can be at that healthy spot where you're like, okay, I'm not sensitive, I'm not getting defensive, I'm not going to put my walls, I'm actually going to hear maybe that there is a different side, maybe there is a different perspective, right? But you can't do that until you're healthy, until you've healed, not healing. Although I do believe in the process of healing, it is much, much better than it would be if you're just not even on that journey, if that makes sense. Like, if you not even trying to get healed, then that means you don't even see that there's a sickness to be cured, which is a lot of people that I grew up with in the community, and to date they're still like that. Like, all this stuff that I'm sharing, all this stuff that come out with, it's so like, oh my gosh, no, I can't believe you would do that, and I can't believe she's coming out like this, and she's so lost, and we just need to pray for her. Let's gather and pray for her. Well, have you ever thought that maybe you're the one that needs prayer? Anyway, maybe that's the way I'll start the conversation. And if you want to say this, if you want to hop on and share with me, I'm actually still trying to learn how to get around on this app because I really haven't used it till lately. One of my friends advised that I share my story on here. I used to actually do Bigo Live, and yeah, it traumatized me, but I'm in a much different place mentally and physically and spiritually, so I really don't care about the harassments and stuff. Like, yeah, it do make me feel sad and sorry for those people that you have to come out and hate so much and so loudly because it bugs and bothers you, right? But like, it don't bother me in the same way, because if I told you what I experienced after the divorce and after my spouse to try to commit suicide, and that's because he had his own demons, his own pain, his own hurt, right? It's not to shame, because I actually understand. I was like suicidal throughout my last 20 years since I was 14, and very depressed. And that's often overlooked, by the way, especially in the military. It's like, oh, you have mental illness, okay, well, we can't use you, and then they get rid of you, and that's why you have the whole thing, what is it called, when you give to those the soldiers that are suicidal. It's not just soldiers though, it's like a lot of people, because yeah, what do you think happens when you get out of a system where you didn't know you were in a cult? Makes sense? Like, what do you think happens to people like that? Well, 3 things. At least I'm gonna break it down to 3 things, right? 1, you either dismiss or deny. 2, you go crazy and bang bang type of stuff, right? I say it that way because I can't apparently say it the other way as I was saying it. Or 3, you go through the process that I do, right? There's the anger, there's the madness, there's the resentment, and then there's the, okay, I realize I'm not the only one. I'm not alone. I get to share my story and not be silenced because others can't handle it or won't believe it. It doesn't matter if they believe it or not. This is about you. This is about me. So you choose what's best for you. Also, don't mind the hair thing. I don't feel like putting my hair down. And in the first parts of this video, yes, son was there, because I know people are going to comment about it, but I was not leaving behind. He just not feeling well, so you can hear him coughing a lot. But anywho, yep, if you guys have any questions, don't feel bad to ask. Even if you're friends or friends that are not friends anymore, family that's, wherever you're at in your journey, I respect your journey. I won't stand by your journey of not choosing truth, but you are where you're at, and I'm where I'm at, and I'm okay with that. So, peace and love.